All right, let's talk about something every single one of us has to deal with, those really difficult, really tense conversations. Today, we're going to break down how you can completely transform arguments, turning them from these awful battles you feel like you have to win into moments of, believe it or not, real connection.
You've totally been there, right? You're arguing about who is supposed to take out the trash, but the tension in the room is so thick you could cut it with a knife. It feels like it's about everything but the trash. And that's because, well, it usually is. We're going to get into what's really going on under the surface of those fights.
And this right here is probably the most important idea we're going to talk about. It comes from communication expert Jefferson Fisher. If you can just burn this one sentence into your brain, it will change everything. They're not fighting you, they're fighting to feel seen, to feel heard by you.
So if understanding is really the goal, why do so many of us just avoid these conversations altogether? Well, it boils down to fear. But running from the conversation has a pretty steep and hidden cost.
You know, it's a completely understandable fear. Our brains immediately jump to the worst-case scenario. We think, oh man, if I bring this up, we're going to break up. Or my boss will think I'm complaining. Or even, I could get fired. So we clam up, we say nothing, and just hope the problem magically fixes itself.
But here's the thing, it never, ever just disappears. This quote is so dead on. Avoiding the problem is like taking out a loan with crazy high interest. The issue just gets bigger and bigger in the background until, inevitably, it explodes. And it always blows up at the worst possible time, right when you're already stressed and have nothing left in the tank.
This really flips the script on what a strong relationship even is. It's not about how happy you are when things are easy. That's the highlight reel. The real measure of strength is your ability to just sit together in the hard stuff, the messy, uncomfortable, difficult moments, and get through it. That's where the real trust gets built.
Okay, so how do we start having these conversations in a better way? It all starts with one huge mindset shift. You have to completely change the goal of the game you're playing. Look at this. It's like two different paths. On the left, you've got the goal of winning. That's where you're just trying to prove you're right, you're interrupting to score points, you're defending yourself. But over on the right, the goal is understanding. Here, you're trying to see their side, you're listening for what they're not saying, and you're validating their feelings. Here's the catch. You cannot be on both paths at the same time. You have to pick one. So think about it like this. A hard conversation isn't a boxing match where somebody wins and somebody loses. It's more like a tangled up ball of yarn. Your job isn't to yank on it and break the threads. Your job, together, is to patiently find the loose ends and gently pull until you see what caused the knot in the first place.
And what is that knot almost always made of? This, a hidden need. Fisher suggests that 99% of our arguments are not actually about the thing we think we're arguing about, the dishes, being late, whatever. They are about a deep, fundamental human need to feel heard, to feel safe, to feel seen, and to feel understood. The dishes are just the symptom.
Okay, so we've got the mindset right. Winning is out, understanding is in. Now let's get super practical. I'm going to give you a few really simple but incredibly powerful tools you can literally start using in your very next tough conversation.
This first one is an absolute game changer. So, someone says something that just lights you up. Your gut reaction is to fire back immediately, right? Instead, stop. Your first word is your breath. Just take a deep breath and then say nothing for about 5 to 7 seconds. This does two amazing things. First, it calms your own nervous system down. And second, it makes their words hang in the air. People really hate the sound of their own harshness echoing in silence. It's amazing how often they'll actually start to backtrack or soften their stance before you even say a word.
But you know, sometimes silence isn't quite enough. The conversation is already spinning out of control and you need to grab the wheel and get it back on the road. That's where you need the art of the reset. This question is the #1 tool for hitting that reset button. The biggest mistake we make is assuming that what we said is what the other person actually heard. But their own feelings, their past experiences, our tone, it all acts like a filter. Asking, hey, just so I'm clear, what did you hear me say, stops the fight in its tracks. It's not about what was said anymore, it's about what was perceived. It can clear up a misunderstanding in an instant.
Now this one is really powerful for when you feel like you've just been attacked. It's so important because it's not an accusation. It's a real question. It makes the other person stop and check in with their own intentions. If they didn't mean to hurt you, it gives them an easy off-ramp. They can say, oh my gosh, of course not. That's not what I meant at all. And if they did mean it, well then you have a very different kind of clarity, and that's important information too.
Okay, let's dig into a really specific and often painful type of conflict. Criticism from people we love, like our parents or partners. It lands on us as judgment and it stings. But what's often underneath it? It's usually a deep-seated but really clumsy attempt to show they care. It's a poor substitute for love.
So instead of getting defensive and arguing against the judgment, try responding to the positive intention, the value that's hidden underneath. So if your dad is criticizing your job, instead of fighting back, try saying something like, "I can tell that my well-being is really important to you." It completely disarms them because you're acknowledging their care. It de-escalates the tension and changes the entire dynamic of the conversation.
So we've talked about the right mindset, and we've got some practical tactics. But let's zoom out for a minute. Why does mastering this stuff really, truly matter? What's the ultimate payoff here?
This is why it matters. This is it. Strong relationships are not built by avoiding fights. They are forged in thousands of these tiny little moments of repair. Every time you choose understanding over being right, you're laying another brick in the foundation. And every time you let one of those moments slide, a tiny crack forms. Over time, those little cracks can bring the whole structure down.
You see, this isn't just about having fewer arguments. It's about building a connection that's so strong, so resilient, that it becomes a safe harbor. A place where both of you can show up with all your flaws, all your messiness, all your vulnerability, and know, truly know, that you'll be met with understanding. That's the real win.
So I'll leave you with this question. Thinking about all these tools and this new mindset, what's that one conversation you've been putting off? What is the next conversation you need to have to start building that stronger, more honest connection?